Well, good evening and welcome to King 5 Plus. I'm Chris Egan bringing you special post-game coverage of the Game 1, the American League Division Series. Seattle Mariners facing off against the Detroit Tigers. Unfortunately for the Mariners and Mariner fans, the Tigers come out of Game 1 victorious. They take Game 1 3-2 in 11 innings. Giving you a quick little playback of the game. George Kirby got the start for Seattle. He gave up a 2-run home run to Kerry Carpenter in the 5th inning. Came out of the gates of the 1st inning, struck out the side. Kirby had 8 strikeouts on the day. In the 4th inning, it was Julio Rodriguez getting Seattle on the board first. Julio with a solo home run. As I mentioned, Kerry Carpenter comes up in the 5th with a 2-run home run, gives the Tigers a 2-1 lead. Julio Rodriguez to the rescue again in the 6th inning. He comes through with an RBI base hit to the right side of the field. That scores Randy Arozarena, ties up the game 2-2. You look back at that 6th inning, Mariners had some chances there to put another run across the board. They did not. This game goes to extra innings. Andres Munoz was fabulous out of the bullpen. First time all season that he's pitched 2 innings. But in the 11th inning, the Tigers get a runner on, 2 outs. Zach McKinstry with the base hit up the middle. That scores the game-winning run. In the bottom of the 11th, Julio Rodriguez got on base with his 3rd hit of the night. But Josh Naylor with a ground out to first base, and that will do it. So Game 1 goes to the Detroit Tigers. This is a 3 out of 5 series, so first team to get 3 wins is going to move on in the playoffs. But a lot of Mariner fans, a lot of people that follow baseball thought the M's needed to take Game 1 because tomorrow is not going to be easy. The M's will face off against Tarek Skubal, former Cy Young Award winner, and he is one of the best in the business. But the Rock, Luis Castillo, will get the start for the Mariners. Should be interesting. A lot to talk to, a lot to listen to. Dan Wilson is taking the podium as we speak. We'll get to that shortly. The Mariners manager talking about the Game 1 loss. Christian and Madeline are out with the fans. 45,000 plus out there tonight. I'm sure there's a little disappointment, but there's still a lot of hope in the city of Seattle. We're only 1 game into this series. Madeline, Christian, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does feel a little bit like a bummer, right?
I think you can feel it in the air.
The energy's a little lower compared to earlier.
But, as you said, Chris, the hope is still alive.
It's still alive.
And I have proof.
Yeah, I mean, as I'm learning more about baseball.
Yes.
Baseball fans are very superstitious. We weren't seeing many mustaches or many Etsy witches.
Oh, no.
We did find one.
And we actually found the Etsy witch.
Yeah.
Emma, show us your outfit. Spin around. The Etsy witch in real form. Okay, now, unfortunately, your powers did not do so hot tonight, but you were saying that you still believe?
Yeah, I'm going to be here tomorrow night, all decked out. I still believe in the Etsy witch, and I still believe in the Mariners.
Me too. Now, can we just show off what you've written on your face here?
Yeah.
Go M's.
Go M's and Earl Trident.
Oh, that is so good. Now tell us, you have another addition to your outfit, I understand.
Yes, I do have a magic wand, and I forgot to bring it tonight, so that may be to blame. If so, I'm very sorry. I will have it tomorrow, I promise.
Yes, she does.
They still love you. We still love you. And what inspired you to dress like this?
Well, I saw the tweets about somebody getting the Etsy witch to, bless the Mariners, and I thought it was so good. I already had some stuff for a Halloween costume, and I just thought, it's perfect. I need to come as the Etsy witch and, cheer the Mariners on.
This is the kind of energy we need when there's a little bit of a bummer in the atmosphere. And Christian, how fun is it to see a superstition, like literally in the flesh?
Amazing. I was like, is it Halloween already? But as I'm learning,
It's October.
It is October.
And hey, it's baseball season, you guys. Obviously, you can see all these fans, rushing out. It's going to be a madness trying to get to the cars and, deal with all this traffic after the game. It's always rough, but you know what, guys? We can get through it, and hopefully tomorrow will be a different story.
Hopefully tomorrow is a different story.
All right, guys, we're going to be talking to fans throughout the rest of the show. But for now, Chris, we're going to send it back over to you.
All right, Madeline, you can see it in the faces of a lot of those fans. A lot of disappointment rolling out of T-Mobile Park tonight. Just a week ago, there was excitement, there was singing, there was dancing in the streets, there was dogs kissing reporters. Tonight, a different story as the Mariners lose Game 1 to the Tigers 3-2. Your final just got some texts from some fans inside the stadium. They said it was just eerie, it was quiet, it was something they haven't experienced in a long time in T-Mobile Park with that loss tonight. All right, Mariners manager Dan Wilson managing his first official playoff game as the manager of the M's, just taking the podium as we speak. Let's listen in to the manager of the Mariners.
Dan, knowing that a righty was on deck and Baez is generally a free swinger, did you think about walking McKinstry in that situation?
Yeah, we talked about it. Obviously Vargy gets the ball on the ground, and that's what he does best, righty or lefty. Got the ball on the ground, just, McKinstry able to find a hole for it and get it through. But, a tough one there. And we just, wanted him to get the ball on the ground, which he did.
Stay here in the front.
Dan, just, after everything your offense has done in the last month or two, are you surprised that they weren't able to produce more consistently tonight? A big blast from Julio, able to get some traffic, in a couple of different innings, just not able to convert as much as we would have wanted to tonight. But, I thought we had some good at-bats. We did grind what we do. That's how we, run our offense is grind out some at-bats, and just weren't able to get, enough, back-to-back to kind of, put the damage that we wanted to put up.
Go in the front, Taryn.
Dan, just how would you assess George's performance tonight? It seemed like he was rolling there and then just got into a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, I thought he threw the ball well tonight. I thought in the second and third inning, he a couple of jams, but really pitched out of it well. I thought his slider had good depth to it tonight. Threw some good ones, down in the zone, kind of disappeared. Carpenter able to get something up in the zone and drive it out of the ballpark.
Stay on the left with Adam.
You mentioned Carpenter there. What's George trying to do in that situation? What's the approach there? And did you had Spire warming up there? How much consideration you give there?
Yeah, those are the tough ones, and I thought George was continuing to throw the ball well, and with Carpenter, you're trying to keep it, down in the zone, or try to get him to chase up in the zone, and he was able to get to that one up there and drive it out of the ballpark.
Go to Tyler in the middle back.
Dan, was there any thought in continuing with George for the sixth? I know he was at 94 pitches, but was that a consideration?
No, not in the sixth. I think, George gave us the 94 and threw a great ball game and gave us a chance there. I thought our offense did a good job of coming back that inning later to kind of tie that score up and make it tight, make it a ball game. I thought that was, what our guys do. We fight, and we got back into it there, and we just weren't able to get the lead.
Go on the far left, second row.
Hi. Just questions about how you were thinking about, as things were going into the extra innings, how you were utilizing your bullpen. You had options like Logan and Miller. You kind of went with Brash, followed by Munoz, then Vargas for that final inning. Just your thought process in those moments going for those innings.
Yeah, that's typically how we run it, and those guys have done such a great job for us all season long. Did a great job tonight. Mooney being able to get 2 innings there was really big. He was super efficient and attacked the zone and got ahead. Really nice job there, and that's just that's how we run it. And I thought all the guys coming out of the bullpen tonight threw the ball extremely well.
Go on your right to Dan.
Dan, was there any consideration of going to Bryce at any point late in the game, or are you trying to balance the possibility of having to start him later in the series?
I think that's kind of the possibility, and we kind of were, just weighing that pretty heavily, that's. Vargy's been good for us all season long and has come up big, especially in those kinds of situations, and I thought he was the right guy to be out there.
Go in the middle, Evan.
Dan, to go back to the Carpenter home run, when you have Kirby out there, you have Spire in the pen. What kind of goes back and forth in your head as to leaving Kirby out there versus going to Spire, and what led to the decision that you ultimately made?
Yeah, it's a tough one, you do the best you can and try to take the information that you have and what you're seeing. And we thought George continued to throw the ball pretty well there, and still had pretty good stuff and a lot left in the tank. And he had been in a couple of tough spots earlier, but really pitched out of it well. Like I said, just he was able to get to the one up in the zone.
Go back on the left, Adam.
And what's the challenge now in the short series, and you're facing Tarek Skubal tomorrow? What's the challenge with the quick turnaround here?
Yeah, one of our strengths is bouncing back, and we have to do that. And Skubal is a guy, obviously, that we have seen a couple of times this year. He's thrown the ball well in Cleveland, and we got to come out tomorrow and come right back at him and bounce back. And our guys are good at that. That's what they do, and I think we'll be ready.
We got one more here on the right. Mike.
Dan, just curious, what'd you make out of Julio and his at-bats tonight, and what tone you're hoping that can set for tomorrow in his approach against a guy like Skubal?
Yeah, again, I thought, the way he approached tonight, hitting the ball, right center area there for the homer, and then you being able to use right field, at a different time. That's we've talked about that a lot with Julio. That's where he's at his best, and being able to use the whole field and being able to drive the ball the other way, and that's a really good sign.
Dan, thanks for coming in. We'll have Zach McKinstry and Kerry Carp.
Dan Wilson of the Seattle Mariners meeting with the media after a tough 3-2 loss to the Detroit Tigers. Game 1 of the ALDS goes to 11 innings. And one of the questions you heard a couple times there from the media, Dan Wilson being asked about George Kirby facing off against Kerry Carpenter in the 5th inning. To put this in perspective, why that question is being asked, Kerry Carpenter is the one that hit the 2-run home run, gave the Tigers the 2-1 lead. George Kirby has not fared well against Kerry Carpenter in his career. In fact, how about this for a stat? Kerry Carpenter is now 5 for 11 in his career against George Kirby. All 5 of those hits have been home runs. And tonight was a big one, definitely, for the Tigers. So some concern there, some questions. Should have Spire came in early? Also some questions. Was there a chance to see Bryce Miller? Right now, with Brian Wu out of this series, Bryce Miller may be slated to pitch Game 4, and it will need to go 4 games for the Mariners right now because they're going to need at least 4 games to win this series because the Tigers take Game 1. All right, we've got more reaction from the fans, more reaction from the Mariners, taking a live look at T-Mobile Park. You're watching it live on King 5 Plus, special post-game reaction of Game 1. We'll be back with more. Welcome back to special post-game coverage of the American League Division Series Game 1. I'm Chris Higgin, coming to you live on King 5 Plus. There is a saying that you will hear if you play baseball, if you have a youngster that plays baseball, you hear it from managers, it's flush it. If you have a bad at bat, flush it. If you have a bad game, flush it. The Seattle Mariners need to flush this game right now. Just flush it and get ready for tomorrow. What's concerning is this Mariners team only came through with 6 hits tonight, 3 hits from Cal Raleigh, 3 hits from Julio Rodriguez. The rest of the lineup did absolutely nothing tonight. That's concerning. What's also concerning is tomorrow you face Tarek Skubal, 13-6 this season with a 2.21 ERA. There are some Mariner fans that will say, hey, the Mariners have done well against Tarek Skubal. That is true. The M's 2-0 against Tarek Skubal, but the playoffs are a different story. In the wild card against Cleveland, the Guardians, Skubal was throwing in the hundreds in the 7th inning. So this is a pitcher that can bring the heat, but there's nowhere to go but up right now for the Seattle Mariners team. What's also going to be interesting to hear from the fans tonight. Christian Madeline have been hanging outside T-Mobile Park. Take it away, you two.
Yeah, as we were talking earlier, I mean, the energy is a little bit lower compared to earlier. But the hope is still alive, right?
Yeah, we can't let it die. We just can't. And you know what? We found some fans that are really helping us carry on, right? We got some posters.
Here. It says, "Let's win the whole dumping thing." What was your name? Ava, right?
Yeah. Ava's the one who made it right there.
How were we feeling? How was the game?
Well, it was fun at some parts, and the guy in front of us kept giving us high fives, so he was keeping the morale high. But it was really fun.
Still vibing.
And what was it like to watch? As you know, a lot of this game it was a tie. I mean, that has you sitting on the edge of your seat. How did that feel? Watching this play out.
Nerve-wracking, but also really positive. We stayed in the game. We never really let it go, and I think we're going to come back tomorrow with a vengeance. We're not going to let it go.
I like that energy, and I just noticed something. We just talked to the Etsy witch. Let me see your hat. What's on there? Is it a mustache?
That's a mustache.
Just when I thought we didn't see any mustache. This is the only one we saw today.
We saw a lot.
You did see it? Okay.
We did.
And hey, I wanted to also introduce you guys. We have 2 11-year-old fans. We have Jace and Cody. You guys, how are you feeling after the game?
Good. Except that Vargas is coughed up a run.
And how are you guys going to be watching tomorrow to see what happens?
Yeah.
How are you thinking? Are you thinking that they can make it all the way?
Yeah.
Okay. Why are you guys Mariners fans? Why did you decide to support the team?
We live down in Olympia.
Okay. And you are a new Mariners fan, I understand. Yeah. Just what, 2 or 3 months? What made you become one?
I took him to a game.
It's when he first took me to the first game I've been to.
Oh, so you got hooked. You're a fan now, and look at your hat. Can you guys tell me how that works with the hat situation? How do is the moose sticking on there or what?
It's magnetic. There's a magnet right here, and then this is a magnet.
Well, we love it. We gotta just keep the fun alive. We gotta still of course bring our posters, bring our hats, bring all the energy for tomorrow because we are really hoping that the Mariners can pull off a win.
There are fewer opportunities.
Yeah, we gotta make it happen, Chris.
All right, we'll send it back.
All right, and you guys said you got to keep the fun alive, keep the magic going, got to find the joy, and it's tough. I mentioned the thing, we got to flush it. The players not only got to flush it, the coaches got to flush it, the fans got to flush it too. And you got to be louder than you were tonight. You need to bring that energy tomorrow. I was inside T-Mobile Park in that 4th inning when Julio Rodriguez hit that solo home run. The building felt like it was shaking, and the fans need to bring that energy again tomorrow. We've heard already on this post-game show on King 5 Plus from Dan Wilson. Now it's time to hear from the winning manager of Game 1. Here's A.J. Hinch of the Detroit Tigers.
Is it for you to come in here and steal a win in Seattle in the opener?
Well, we didn't steal it. We earned it. I think it was important for us to play this game that was in front of us, and we did a really good job. That was an incredible game. I mean, an incredible job. Troy being able to manage his emotions getting into the game. How about our bullpen? I mean, that was quite an effort. Used everybody down there but one, and some timely hitting. Carp with a big homer. Z-Mac with the base hit. I mean, there's a lot to like about a win on the road in the playoffs to kickstart a series, and I'm obviously thrilled.
We'll go to Evan in the middle.
AJ, what were your emotions like in the 11th? Obviously, as you see Torque work the leadoff walk, then the 2 strikeouts, and then obviously Z-Mac comes through.
Yeah, I mean we took advantage of a few extra things. The walk against that we walked earlier in the game hurt us, and then we got it right back. We walk, we get a wild pitch. gets to second and gives you a chance, and Z-Mac with the big base hit. And so obviously there was a lot in that game. I mean, we could sit and talk forever just about the back and forth and the volume of pitches thrown and used, and key at bats and pretty good defense, and just things that in a one-run game everything matters. And we had one extra punch at the perfect time to get the win.
Go on the right to Evan.
Did you have any thoughts of sending Vest out for a third inning, and how impressive was what Cater did?
That's right. I mean, he wanted to badly, and I actually, coming into the game, I really only wanted to get one up out of him, and then he goes out and has a single-digit inning of pitches. So I was sending him back out, and so when he went out a second inning, he's just working on so much adrenaline, But I didn't even consider giving him a third. It matters so much to these guys; they're willing to do anything. But we had a fresh Cater who I have always talked highly about having good stuff and the mojo to get it done. And then that's one of the first experiences I think he's had like that. And you're not going to pitch in a tougher environment with what the Seattle fans and our fans brought tonight in this ballpark, and it was a very rewarding win.
Go to Cody in front.
A.J. Hinch, manager of the Detroit Tigers, no stranger to managing baseball teams in the postseason. Doing my numbers here on the set as we speak. That was his 61st game that he's been managing a postseason game. If you recall, A.J. Hinch, former manager of the Houston Astros, led them to a World Series championship back in 2017. So A.J. Hinch, one of the best in the business when it comes to managing. So the Mariners are going to have to regroup. The first question asked, what do you feel about stealing this game, game one? And A.J. Hinch quickly fired back at that reporter. We didn't steal it. We earned it tonight, and they did. The Tigers get this win tonight. 11 innings, 3-2 your final. Mariners, once again, just 6 hits on the night. Cal Raleigh with 3 of them, and Julio Rodriguez with 3 of them. But it's all about now regrouping, getting set for tomorrow. A live look now at T-Mobile Park. Fans clearing out. Sounders game's about to end, so you're going to have more fans rolling by that park. It's going to be a busy one tomorrow as well with the Seahawks and the Mariners both in action. But we're going to hear more from the fans and more from the Mariners coming up next on this special post-game report coming to you live on King 5 Plus. Welcome back, everybody. This special post-game report coming to you live on King 5 Plus. Seattle Mariners lose Game 1 to the Detroit Tigers 3-2. Once again, this is a best of 3 out of 5 series. So first team to 3 wins moves on to the American League Championship Series. On the other end, the Toronto Blue Jays taking care of business in Game 1 against the New York Yankees today. Just a big victory for the Blue Jays. 14 hits in that game as they take Game 1. From Toronto to Seattle, it's the Tigers that take game one, 3-2 in 11 innings. 45,000 were on their feet when Julio Rodriguez went deep in the fourth inning. They were back on their feet in the sixth inning when Julio Rodriguez drove in Randy Arozarena. And then in the 11th inning when Zach McKinstry took one up the middle to bring home the game-winning run, I think those fans were in shock. It was very silent. And out with the fans now, braving the elements out there. Christian Madeline, what do we got? It looks like they're dispersing quite a bit.
Yeah, it's starting to clear out over here. Of course, we still have a bit of a gridlock with the traffic, so.
And with the clearing out, I mean, it's kind of like the vibe, right? A little bit deflated.
I know a lot of people are heading out, but we're still hearing some music going on. There's still some hope alive out here.
And of course, you know, we've got a lot to look forward to, but we do want to talk to some fans over here. We have Grady and Calum. How are you guys feeling at this moment?
Pretty deflated, honestly. Big mood killer after the game, yeah.
Yeah, we thought after the Julio home run that we'd be able to put some runs on the board, but just the offense didn't get going.
What was it like for y'all sitting while the tie was going on? And what was that experience like?
It's electric.
Yeah.
Standing up and down every inning, lots of noise. It's a lot of fun.
Big nail biter game.
That's exactly how I felt watching as we prepare to come out here. And for you guys, I mean, are you going to get to be here tomorrow in person to see the game?
Unfortunately not.
Oh, that's the biggest bummer, right?
We thought game one we'd go to and a big win and it'd be a lot of fun, but unfortunately it didn't go in our favor.
Now, Christian,
hopefully still catching the game on TV.
For sure.
Still right.
Catching the game.
How are you feeling going into that?
I wanted to mention the pitcher situation because we know with the Tigers,
Yes.
It's looking a little rough, but how are you guys feeling about it?
We need to win tomorrow. we need to beat their good guy. So
A little nervous, but I know we got it. I know we got it, yeah.
Calum, I'm gonna take that energy.
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna be saying that all day
Yeah.
because that's how I'm feeling right now. Christian, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, a bit deflated. It's a good word.
But you know what? We got to stay positive, guys. It's not over yet. We have 5 games to get through, Chris.
I know, and there was also a lot of energy to end right off, knowing that we made it to the playoffs, knowing that the team made history out here. There's still a lot of excitement.
I'm gonna believe, Chris. I think hopefully we can do it.
Hey, Christian, Madeline, thank you much. And you're right. You two are bringing me up a little bit. There's a lot of baseball to play. It's a tough game one loss, no question about it. You'd like to see the Mariners, considering the Tigers were going with a bullpen starter today, put on more than 2 runs on the board. They couldn't do that. They had runners in scoring position several times. I look back to that 6th inning when the M's have 2 on. Julio Rodriguez drives home Randy Arozarena, and that's the only run that they can get across the board there. That was deflating for the M's. And then in the 11th inning, Julio Rodriguez gets on, and then the bats behind him just couldn't come through tonight. Once again, 6 hits is all. We're waiting for some Seattle Mariners to take the podium, but unfortunately they are not on the podium as we speak right now. So, hey, I want to give everybody also a programming alert. You can go off King 5 Plus or stay on King 5 Plus. Coming up on Kong News at 10 o'clock, we'll have plenty of reaction from the game. Ariel Arasudo is at T-Mobile Park. She's in the locker room as we speak, chatting with some of the Mariners players. We'll have that for you coming up at 10 o'clock. And then we'll see you also coming up at 11 o'clock. And we got Kraken Home Ice. The debut of Kraken Home Ice is tonight, 10:30 on Kong TV. So it's going to be a busy night with the Kraken season starting next week. But it's all about the Mariners tonight. And once again, Tigers take game 1, 3-2 in 11 innings is your final. All right, that will do it. We'll see you over on Kong TV, or we'll see you right back here at 10 o'clock for more on the Mariners and their tough game 1 loss to the Tigers.